Hello you guys and welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. So today we are going to be doing the infamous MLM horror stories. So let's just get right into the video. I don't really have much to say. I got my water today because I had pre-workout this morning, so can't go too much on the caffeine, and that's all. What are you drinking today? I want to know. So the first story says MLM Horror Stories forensic exams. Then she did put like a trigger warning and she said this story mentioned sexual assault forensic exams in general, no mention of specific incidents though. Hey Deanna, I work as an advocate at a sexual violence nonprofit. A big part of what I do is providing advocacy during forensic exams, explaining options and possible outcomes, getting clients connected to services and safety planning, etc. In addition, if I am not needed in the exam room and the client brings a support person, I'll spend that time with the support person. This can last anywhere from 45 minutes to maybe 2 hours. Typically, when talking to a support person, I make sure to discuss things like how to support their loved ones, and I check in with how the support person is holding up. After that, I let the support person guide the conversation, which sometimes doesn't go the direction I anticipate. More than a few times, I've gotten full pitches about buying or joining the support person's MLM. The ones I've seen to get the most of was Scentsy and Mary Kay. What I found to be the most effective way to get out of this convo in a nice way is telling them I have my own insert MLM here person already. There's a time and a place to pitch an MLM. JK, there's never really an appropriate time and place, but I would say that in a forensic exam for a family member or friend would be towards the bottom of the list. Thank you. That's horrible, but first, you are amazing to be working with a nonprofit that does something like that and supports victims and victims' significant others or their support person. That is so amazing, and so thankful for people like you who do those kinds of things because they are needed. I'm just completely shocked. Like, I was not seeing this story going in that direction, but it's sad. Like, what do you guys think, audience, viewers, other friends of mine? What do you guys think about this? Because I find it very sad. Like, if you are the support person to somebody that has just been why would the first thing you do to someone at the nonprofit that is speaking to you and being there for you as their support person, why would you try and recruit them? Like, yeah, the way you can support me is by joining my MLM. But I do like her comeback. So she, in an effective way to actually like be nice to them, is just telling them like, oh, you're part of Mary Kay. I already have a Mary Kay person that I buy from, because it gets them off her back without making either of them feel like uncomfortable. But that's just so sad to me. Like, that is a sad story. I can't grasp that. Like, if I went to something like this or to a nonprofit like this for the reason that it is with a friend of mine, that I would try and recruit someone to my MLM. Oh, the next story is an Arbonne story, and it starts off by saying, hey Dan, I want to start by saying I really love watching your videos. I drive an hour to work every day and your videos make the long drive with tons of traffic much more tolerable. This story is my experience with an Arbonne consultant and Arbonne products. It's long and has a lot of twists, but bear with me. Get your coffee and buckle your seatbelt. This is a good one. I've been anti-MLM since my first Hey Girl cold message and those scammy comment to win $100 posts by It Works. I knew about Arbonne because a girl on my Facebook who I met at work was a consultant and on the daily would post about financial freedom, how your makeup is made of dead animal parts, curing cancer with protein shakes, and of course, the famous 30 days of laxatives, cough cough. I mean 30 days to healthy living. To be fair, this girl isn't a bad person. I genuinely think she drank too much of the Arbonne Kool-Aid and really believes these products are legit and this opportunity is good for people. I should also mention she's relatively high up in the company, making roughly $500 a month, which isn't a lot, but compared to most people in MLMs, it's not bad. She's also full-time with Arbonne, so this is her main source of income. I wouldn't call $125 a week financial freedom, but I digress. This girl has some title called Triple Diamond Supreme CEO President and has been doing this for about 2 years. Anyways, I've been following her posts for a while now and watched her live videos, and again, I genuinely feel bad because she's a sweet girl and truly believes these products can sell themselves. I'm in college and I was doing a research study for ethics in business class where I decided to research MLMs from a consultant and consumer standpoint and study both the business model as well as the quality of the actual products. I refused to actually spend money on any MLM products because I don't support unethical businesses, so I decided to reach out to all of the Huns I had on Facebook asking if I could interview them about their business for a research project. And I asked each Hun if they had free samples of the products I could use for testing purposes. The representative from Unique gave gave me a hard no for the free samples and interview, so did Monat, It Works, and even Color Street. But this Arbonne girl, who I'm going to call Sarah to protect her privacy, reached out and agreed to let me do the interview and give me samples on one condition, that we meet in person and that I agreed to use the products for at least 7 days so that I get the quote-unquote full effect. I agreed, and we met at the coffee shop a few days later to talk. I had a list of questions to ask Sarah about both the quality of the products but also the business model. After just a few questions, I realized this girl was just a living, breathing Arbonne machine. She only uses Arbonne products, from her nutrition shakes to her makeup to her laundry soap, shampoo and conditioner, even Arbonne dog products, and of course the fizz sticks with half a cup of coffee worth of caffeine. During our meeting, she quickly transitioned from answering my questions to trying to convince me to become a consultant myself. I know that sounds pretty scummy, but for research purposes this was actually really helpful because I was able to see the PowerPoint presentation that she usually gives to newly signed up coaches that were actually given to her by her upline, which was given to them by their high-ups and leaders at Arbonne. The first thing that was on this Arbonne PowerPoint was pictures of dead animals next to makeup brands like MAC, and talking about how brands use the parts of dead animals to make their makeup. And I'm telling you, the pictures were graphic. Sarah went on to talk about the green, vegan, all-natural products that Arbonne offers, and then explained to me that that's why Arbonne's so expensive. The next notable thing on the PowerPoint was the quote-unquote statistics on how Arbonne products cure depression, anxiety, PTSD, and other mental health issues, with testimonials on how Arbonne customers cured their mental health disorders with the 30 Days to Healthy Living program. There was even a testimonial of a girl talking about throwing out her meds after the 30-day program because she no longer suffered from depression. The PowerPoint then went into weight loss, the free car, and recruitment. Sarah also spoke about a close friend of hers that just found out they had cancer, and I shit you not, she said to me, if I only had told them about Arbonne sooner, they wouldn't be in this situation today. The girl also said, this is why I don't hold back anymore, because these products will literally help stop cancer cells from forming. Girl, when I tell you I lost it, I mean, what a statement. And the worst part is, it isn't her fault. She's been completely brainwashed to believe that Arbonne is the answer to any physical or mental illness. So she gave me a bunch of samples to take home with me, everything from fizz sticks and protein powder to a 4-step face wash kit that she said I could borrow for 7 days. She also gave me these nasty flavored taffy candies that I was supposed to eat when I was hungry to suppress my appetite and lose weight, mind you. I never told her I was interested in losing weight. On the first night, I used the 4-step face wash kit and immediately felt burning all over my skin. I'm talking fire-breathing dragon all over my face. When I washed it off, I noticed my face was covered in hives, itchy, burning, painful. I messaged Sarah and sent pictures, and she said it was normal and to use it again in the morning. No. This is why you can't have non-professionals doing jobs like this. I knew that was BS, but for research purposes, I continued. The next morning I tried again, same thing, burning and hives. At this point, my entire face was broken out in both acne and hives. I looked like a pepperoni pizza. I couldn't wear any makeup or cover up because my skin was so irritated. Again, I messaged Sarah and told her what was happening. She then told me it was normal because my skin was detoxing all the bad makeup I've put on it for years. This is when I told her I thought she was wrong and I was having an allergic reaction. Let me pause really quickly. Is Arbonne like the skincare of Monat? Like, for Monat, people will say, oh, it's just detoxing, even though the Attorney General said that you cannot say that. Like, the Florida Attorney General has stated that you cannot tell people that it's detoxing when it's essentially not. So your skin's detoxing. I'm no like a dermatologist, but I don't think that's how it works. None of the Arbonne products had the ingredient list on them, which is a red flag, so I asked her to send me the ingredients. She said she didn't have it and told me I could just research it myself. I'm sorry, but it's your product. You should know what's in it. She then told me she would message her upline and ask them if they knew what would be causing the skin irritation. Later that day, she said she spoke with her upline and they agreed that it was my skin detoxing and that I should continue the products. After day 3, I just couldn't take it anymore. I sent photos to a family member of mine who's a doctor, and she told me I was in fact having an allergic reaction and needed to stop using these products immediately. I told Sarah what the doctor said, and she told me that it definitely wasn't an allergic reaction. Oh, so now we don't listen to doctors. Okay. She then went on to tell me that I must have sensitive skin and I should be using the Arbonne sensitive skincare line instead. I gave a big heck no to that and returned the product immediately and never used Arbonne or any other MLM product again. I think the moral of the story is these people are not doctors, makeup artists, dermatologists, nutritionists, etc. These people do not have the authority to tell you what to do with your body and whether or not you can and can not use a product. These people do not ask if you have allergies, and they are withholding important information like the ingredient list for the products. Be careful. It may seem harmless, but these products are not FDA approved, and it shows. Trust the doctors before an MLM consultant to tell you whether or not it's an allergic reaction to a product. Thanks for spreading awareness about MLMs. Again, no hate to this girl. I think she meant well. She's just blissfully unaware of the harm these products can cause. This is what gets me frustrated, is you go into an MLM, right? No matter what the MLM is, Arbonne clearly has everything, but when you go into this MLM, 90% of people don't have any education, like actual, I've gone to school for this, education on things like skin or things like hair or, you know, fitness people. They haven't gone through the correct training. So when they join MLMs like Beachbody Thrive, they don't properly know what to tell people. But then when they get into these MLMs that, you know, actual doctors or people who are certified should be treating these patients, is what I should say, patients or clients, whatever, it ends up not being that way because literally, I have seen it with my own eyes that these MLMs truly make these reps believe that they are somehow educated in this topic and they should be telling people what to do with their skin, with their hair, with their makeup, with their body, with their fitness journey. So for this, it frustrates me because an actual dermatologist should be the one that's doing this. I personally go to a dermatologist because I have hormonal acne and I don't listen to anybody else just because I know better not to. But there are a lot of people out there who are very insecure about their skin. And I have ran into a lot of people who are like, oh, my skin, you know, I get acne and I'm really insecure. And some people won't even leave their house without makeup on. Those people are so vulnerable because they don't even feel confident in their own skin. Those individuals are the targets. Those are going to be the people that try products like this and end up having allergic reactions because they probably shouldn't be using these products in the first place. So please, 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 like reach out to a dermatologist. Don't listen to MLMs that talk about skincare, things that are going on your skin. When it comes to fitness, things that are going in your body and things that you're doing with your body, please talk to a professional, like a dietitian for the food aspect and an actual personal trainer or something for the fitness aspect. Just, it doesn't matter what MLM, it could be Monate. Actually go to someone who has gone to school for hair. Oh, my hair is looking all crazy. Someone who's gone to school for hair though, so that you can get the proper information, because again, these MLM reps are really taught from the company. And I'm not gonna say that Arbonne does this, but from what I've seen, a lot of MLMs do this. They train these MLM reps to believe that they can give out this information when they shouldn't be giving out this information. So it sucks because when you're in the MLM, you feel like you're helping people and you feel like you're doing this amazing thing by helping people with their skin, doing this and that, but in all actuality, you may be just hurting people more than you're helping them, and you don't realize that because you're so just into the MLM itself. So I loved this story also because this person is someone that was doing actual research for, you know, business school and stuff. So it's kind of cool that she could talk about MLMs and then go through the whole process. And while I may not have continued using the face stuff for 3 days, it's cool that she did. And she really was someone who sat down, listened, tried products she was told, listened to or went to the MLM rep about the product, and then seen what she had to say in return, and then followed suit with that. So I feel like that's really cool. That's like something I love when people interview people that are in MLMs, or you sit down with them and you try and get like a full picture, and then you really get the full picture by kind of what happens to you. So that was a crazy one. What do you guys think about that one? This one says, Leah Sophia rep body shamed me at a party. Trigger warning, talking about ED. Hi Deanna, my name's Summer and you can use my name. About back in 2009, so 2009, I started dating my now husband. His mom and sister invited me to a Leah Sophia party. I don't think this company is around anymore, but they sold jewelry. The party was at my mother-in-law's house. Everything was going great. Then the rep asked me to be the model. I felt flattered, so I stood in front of all my mother and sister-in-law's friends. She demos a few pieces, then picks up a long drapey necklace because those were the thing back then. She places it around my waist to show how it can double as a massive belt and says, oh, look at this. You don't have to be skinny mini to wear this. Well, I've been struggling with body image and ED all throughout my life and still to this day. I remember the first time I told my babysitter I felt fat was when I was only 7, and I've struggled with this ever since. The moment at the party was so humiliating and I kind of froze and didn't know what to say. Plus, I was trying to impress my new boyfriend and didn't want to come across as insecure. We actually celebrated 10 years of being married in January, and he's helped me heal in so many ways. Plus, my mother and sister-in-laws are amazing, and I've been a rock in my life, and I know they felt badly for putting me in an awkward moment. Thank you so much for reading, and keep fighting the good fight. So yeah, I don't think this MLM is around anymore. I haven't seen it. I will look into that, but I haven't seen it around at all. I haven't ever heard of that MLM. That is really sad because I feel like people will look at someone no matter what body type they have and automatically assume something like, oh, if that person's too skinny, they have an assumption already, or if that person, someone's eyes is overweight, they have an assumption already. And it's sad that like, oh, you don't have to be skinny mini, so what were you trying to say that that person, like what? Like, I just don't get it. Those really annoy me because you have to realize that sometimes you may say the wrong thing to the wrong person and you don't know how that's going to affect them. So that's really sad that, you know, they would say that to her and not know that she's struggling. So that's definitely why when you're talking about things like that, you need to watch who you're talking about it around, because you never know if someone's gone through a hard time or struggled with an ED in the past. So this story says, e-commerce MLM scam horror story. Deanna, let me start off by asking, how are you doing? I hope you're ready for this story because it's a doozy. I don't mind if you share my name, it's Monzi. A tiny bit about myself, I'm a Navy veteran and currently going to school to pursue a career in the healthcare field. Thank you, GI Bill. Anywho, my story starts in the gym during a leg workout. I was taking a sip of water when a young, beautiful blonde girl, we'll name her Ruby, approached me to compliment my leggings and generated small talk. She then proceeded to talk about her job and how it has really impacted her being a bartender and how she's now focusing on probably going to school, but the debt is just something she's not willing to deal with, and she has now become involved in a side hustle for passive income. Cue red flag number 1. Part of me couldn't help but think, please don't ask me to join your MLM. I nodded my head politely, and she then proceeded to tell me she has begun dabbling in e-commerce. I think that's how you pronounce it. I asked, oh, what is that? She said, it's great that you ask, but it's just way too much info to talk about here. If you give me your number, I can set up a FaceTime call with you and we can talk more in depth about it. Me being too nice went ahead and gave this girl my number. Big mistake. Let's fast forward 5 days and now she is texting me about a Zoom call with her quote-unquote mentor. At this point, I had done some digging and research on my own and I knew exactly what this opportunity was. Thanks to Reddit anti-MLM, I found out the company, which she was hesitant to disclose, was something called Worldwide Dream Builders. The company is in association with none than other, drumroll, Amway. I began to read forums upon forums of people being approached for this opportunity to retire in 6 years. All of her stories sounded just like mine. I then realized I had 2 options. I could either ignore the Zoom call or take it and just knowledge bomb her upline. I took the call and both Ruby, who set up the call, and her mentor were on it. I got on and immediately was greeted by them both in full business attire. This was kind of intimidating and cringy, not gonna lie, and was told a little bit about the mentor. Let's call him Ryan. He then said, this is an opportunity and this is the first of 3 meetings where we will screen to see if you are a good fit. I want to know what your mindset is and if you are coachable and teachable through our mentorship program. So if you could just talk a little bit about yourself. Let me pause really quickly. I don't understand companies that are affiliated with people like companies like Amway and just those type of companies, ones that deal with insurances like Primerica, companies like Cutco. Why do they do this? Like, why do they try and make it seem like it's this big interview? Because I know for very high up positions in certain jobs, sometimes you have to sit in front of a board or, you know, be on a call with a board, you know, in business attire, and you have to answer all of their questions like an actual interview. Do they do this to try and come off like they're doing an actual interview? Because I feel like no matter how coachable the MLM rep or upline thought this person was, they would still sign them up. I just find it very confusing and cringeworthy just because I don't get what it is. Like, I wish I knew the actual concept of it, or like I wish I can get into a training and be able to see like why they do this, but just a theory, like part of me feels it's so that they could look realer or they could look more professional, like, oh yes, we hire, we make sure you're manageable and coachable. Just confusing. Let me know what you guys think. So they asked if you could just talk a little bit about yourself, to which I replied, I honestly have more questions than things I like to discuss about myself. He was taken aback and said, what kinds of questions do you have? I would happily like to unpackage them for you during our next meeting. I said, what is e-commerce? I have asked Ruby and I don't get a straight answer. I Googled it and honestly I can't wrap my head around what it is, so do you have an income disclosure statement? He said, great question. Have you ever heard of Jeff Bezos? The business has helped me create my own financial freedom. My friend retired himself after 6 years and I am on the same business plan. I am basically my own Jeff Bezos, putting money back in my pocket and creating millionaires out of millions. I straight up sat there just staring back, extremely confused because he dodged every question. He asked what I wanted out of a business and I said, I don't have any intentions of being a business owner. I thought this was e-commerce. Ryan said, e-commerce is a business and your assigned mentor will help you expand it. The mentorship is free. I asked, if the mentorship is free, how are people making money? What company is this? Again, he dodged my question, asked what I was going to school for, and then went off on a tangent about how the degree I was working on was essentially meaningless because I'd be abiding by 40, 40, 40, which is 40 hours a week, 40 years to retire, and I have 40%, which he recommends I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and how he calls his mentor his rich mom because his mother is a nurse still working in the field, and last week called him to borrow some money so he would never take financial advice from her. Can I pause really quickly? How mean is that? Like, I'm gonna have to keep pausing because this video has so many points that I don't want to forget. Like, you guys already know how I feel about the whole job thing. You're going to college and doing something that you want to do and you're getting a degree for something that you want to do, you do you. Some people don't go to college because they don't want to. Some people start businesses. Some people go to trade schools. Some people are social media influencers. There are so many different aspects of what you can do, but no one of those people should be shamed. You shouldn't be shamed for just being an influencer. You shouldn't be shamed for just going to school. You shouldn't be shamed for being a business owner instead of going to school. Like, you shouldn't feel shamed for that, or people shouldn't shame individuals for doing that. Just let people go to college for what they want to go for. And on top of that, like, your mom's a nurse and you're gonna be this mean and be like, oh, I would never take financial advice from her. Like, what makes people think they're above everybody else? This isn't just about the MLM, but like, what makes this person who's in this MLM believe that they're above everyone else, and that they're this Jeff Bezos? Your mom's a nurse. It's a hard job. Being a nurse, being a doctor, any one of those jobs are so hard, let alone just the schooling to get into, like, being a nurse. Like, just nursing school is hard enough to get through to become a nurse. And then when you become a nurse, you're just shit on, really uncalled for to say on a call, like a business call. Like, who would say that on a business call when you want to hire people, essentially, or mentor people? Because if I was on a call with someone and they said that about their mother, I would have hung up. I would have been like, MB, I'm off. I'm not talking to you. Like, I don't know. This is where I question, like, they expect people to sign up with them after this, like as a rep for an MLM, after you talk crap about your mom's financial state. Let's continue. You can imagine at this point, I was kind of disgusted at how he spoke about his mother and her profession and his mentality of academics. I ultimately told him I had no interest in working within a business structure in which I can't even know the name of, and I did not appreciate the amount of secrecy behind the company. He just stared at me like a deer in the headlights and said, well, if you change your mind, you can text Ruby. Whether you decide to continue or not, it doesn't make a difference for our team. Shocked. In the end, I texted Ruby and told her I had no interest and kindly appreciated the offer for the quote-unquote opportunity, to which she replied, if at any point you find yourself interested and want to educate yourself, you have my number. I feel bad for the innocent people who get roped into this because the upline made it sound so lucrative and exclusive. Like, we see the potential in you, but in the end, it's just predatory. Side note, I also found out that not one but 4 other people from the gym are involved with recruiting and soliciting other members, and that makes me seriously uncomfortable. Thank you for reading my story. I hope that helps someone or brings light to this MLM that seems to be sliding under the radar. I don't have words. I don't have words for this story. We hear this all the time, how the Ruby individual said, oh, whenever you're interested and want to educate yourself. Like, how do you know someone's not educated? Why automatically automatically assume that someone's not educated when they came on a call, asked for income disclosures. They knew what they were talking about. Like, this person clearly did her research and tried to research the company, knew to come in and talk, hey, where's your income disclosure statement? And ask those questions. So that should actually show that she has done some sort of research, whether it was 5 minutes of research or 20 minutes of research or freaking hours of research. She still asked certain questions that should have been answered, but instead weren't. But I get what she is saying about the fact that the innocent people in these MLMs are truly brought in by that inclusivity that they give, and them really talking about how lucrative it is, but most importantly, them saying how much they see the potential in you. That hits a hard spot for a lot of people, because a lot of people just want someone to see that potential. They want something where they can make money and have purpose. And when someone shows you that they have potential in you, no matter in what aspect of life, you more so trust them more, you lean into them more, and you go to them for advice and things like this. And you normally look up to a person that would say that. So it does suck for the people who get roped into MLMs that end up looking up to these uplines. And in all actuality, it's really not as lucrative and exclusive as they make it seem. So that is going to be it for this MLM horror stories. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it. Comment down below which story you related to, or just whatever about any of the stories. I'd love to know what you guys thought, especially about this last one. And I upload videos 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'll see you in the next video.